Welcome back to Coach Stack, your secret weapon for improving yourself through business, investing, and personal growth. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on our next videos. Routine is something that gets discussed a lot in the context of success. A lot of that comes down to the fact that most highly successful people seem to have a routine that they stick to religiously. Jack Dorsey and Jeff Bezos are great examples of this. Both of these guys have spoken at great length about their daily routines and have even gone so far as to attribute some of their current successes to them. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the daily routines of Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter and Square, and Jeff Bezos, well, you know who he is.
Jeffrey Bezos.
To make things simpler, we're going to be breaking their routines down into these sections: sleep, mental health, and exercise. Quick note, you've probably noticed that work isn't on the list. That's intentional. While researching, it pretty quickly became clear that Jack and Jeff don't really have a standard workday. There will also be some other things that we don't cover. That's because both of these guys are pretty private and there's a limited amount of information to work with. Anyway, let's see what an average day looks like for Jack and Jeff. Sleep. When it comes to sleep, Jack Dorsey and Jeff Bezos have different philosophies. Jack is what you could call a minimalist sleeper. That means he tries to get the bare minimum amount of sleep he needs to feel happy and productive during the day. For Jack, that means getting 6 hours in every night. To get his 6 hours, he usually goes to bed at 11 p.m. and wakes up at 5 a.m. every single day. Yep, even on weekends. On the other hand, Jeff is a firm believer in the 8-hour sleep cycle. There's a lot of research backing up this 8-hour benchmark, and Jeff finds it works best for him. He doesn't sleep in much longer than Jack to get those extra 2 hours though. He's usually asleep by 10:30 p.m. and up at 6:30 a.m. You'll notice that both of these guys get up ridiculously early, by my standards anyway. That's a really common trend in the routines of highly successful people for a few reasons. 1. The human brain is wired to be most alert in the early hours of the day. That's true whether you're a morning person or not. 2. It's a chance to get some alone time before the rest of the world wakes up. When you spend all day interacting with others, it's important to find quiet times to be by yourself. Early mornings are a great time to do this. And 3. It improves the quality of sleep you do get. Studies show that people who get up early sleep more deeply than those who don't. The key takeaway here is that waking up early has proven benefits. That's why executives do it, and that's why you should think about doing it too. Mental health. CEOs like Jack Dorsey and Jeff Bezos have a lot on their plates. That's why both of them block out time in the day for mental health or activities that make them happier and more productive. Jack's approach to mental health is pretty intense. It starts with a 37-degree ice bath as soon as he gets out of bed. I don't know about you, but I can imagine nothing worse. According to Jack, the ice bath is important for 2 reasons. 1, it helps him wake up, not surprising. And 2, it forces him into a state of mind where no challenge is too big to handle. That second reason makes a lot of sense on an intuitive level. Jumping into an ice bath right after you woke up would suck. I'm sure even Jack Dorsey agrees with that. But as soon as you've made yourself do it, you've already done the hardest thing you'll have to do all day. This is backed up by research from psychologist Dr. Kelly McGonigal, who writes that making your body do uncomfortable things, like taking ice baths, helps it build new neural pathways that facilitate resilience, a trait that successful people need. By the time he's done with his ice bath at around 5:30 a.m., Jack sits down on a cushion and meditates for 60 minutes. Meditation is another tool that he uses to increase his resilience, this time by improving his ability to shut down negative thinking. Jeff Bezos has an approach to self-care that is much simpler. The hours between 6:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. when he heads into the office are devoted to mindless activities. No rule, no goals, no ice baths. Just Jeff being Jeff. In interviews, he describes this as his puttering time. He might make a pot of coffee, check the news, spend time with his family, things that normal people do in their free time. Being purposely unproductive might seem counterintuitive for a busy executive, but it can actually increase productivity in the long run. There was a study done recently on the power of mindless activities. People were asked to take a test. After they were done, they were either assigned a demanding task or an undemanding task. When they took the test a second time, the people who had been assigned the undemanding task performed much better. As you can see, there are big differences between Jack and Jeff's approach to mental health. There's an important lesson there. No routine will work well for everyone. Some people, Jack Dorsey for example, thrive when their routine is a blueprint for their entire day. It can actually be incredibly comforting. That doesn't work for everyone though. Jeff Bezos is a great reminder that you can be successful and still prioritize your free time. People need exercise to thrive, and executives are no different. With that being said, Jack and Jeff both introduce exercise into their routines in really different ways. Let's start with Jack. Once he's finished meditating, Jack laces up his walking boots, straps on his backpack, and walks the 5 miles from his house to Twitter HQ. In case you're wondering, the walk takes 1 hour and 15 minutes each way. That's about 1 hour longer than it would take to drive. These walks are an important part of Jack's routine for 2 reasons. 1. Walking is a great form of exercise. In fact, researchers are starting to find that walking is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise in existence. And if you weren't aware, aerobic exercise is an incredibly effective way to boost energy levels and productivity. And 2, walking is a great way to clear your head and center yourself. Jeff takes a much more standard approach to exercise. He's a big believer in the power of strength training, and the results speak for themselves. He usually finds the time for powerlifting and strength training in the evenings and on weekends. Strength training has a ton of benefits to offer CEOs and regular people like you and me. Improved confidence, better mood, deeper sleep, being stronger, the list is long. The takeaway here is that exercise is an important part of any daily routine. Hopefully, this partial breakdown of Jack Dorsey's and Jeff Bezos' morning routines is helpful as you start thinking about what your ideal routine would look like. If you take anything away from this video, it should be that there's no best routine. Anything that's important to you can become a part of it, if you're able to manage your time well. A great first step is grabbing a pen and creating a ranked list of all the things you do in an ideal day, along with how long each one would take. With this out of the way, you can start blocking off time for different activities, making sure to give preference to more important ones. If you liked today's video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any Coach Stack content in the future. Thanks for watching and see you next time.